Hey y'all, in the bait lab again today, kind of a drizzly, rainy day. I spent most of the morning, all morning, working on my daughter's car in the rain. That was fun. So we're done with that, and I'll get some baits done. I want to talk about a couple things and kind of just having a good time chilling out. Making baits. I love making baits, kind of, mostly. I'll be right back. So I want to touch base with y'all a little bit on the bait thing. I really appreciate folks who've ordered baits. So far, it's been almost too good to be true how much people are liking them. I know I'm doing some things different. I got a mess of stuff. I'll show you real quick. Mess of baits right now. Got some crawdads going out to Kentucky in a few days. Got to pour one more mess of them to get that order done. Repeat customer. Hey, I want to throw this at y'all. Now, I bought this mold. I'm going to find it now. Dadgummit. I bought this mold a couple weeks ago for my wife to practice with hand pouring, because I thought it'd be real cool. It's shrimp mold. It's really decent size. I think it. Boy, that shiny thing still brand new. So we poured some shrimp with it. Hand poured, old school hand pouring. They come out pretty cool, and playing with some colors and things, but I want to get y'all's idea on this, because I think it'd be a Ned rig bait. I'm not a Ned rig guy. So it's a, 3.5 inch long bait. And I spiced a few of them up with some live rubber. I don't know if that's something, I know it'd catch, there's no doubt it'll catch fish. Is that something y'all would like? Would you consider that a Ned bait deal? There's no real action to it. Well, no fancy stuff, but most of the Ned rigs I see are turds. I had to do that. Got some country music on TV today on my YouTube. It ain't always rock and roll. A lot of times, good country. I can dig it. That's Haggard getting ready to come on now. A little swinging doors and jukeboxes, yeah. You know, I told somebody a while back, sometimes I wake up in the morning in a Don Williams mood. Sometimes I wake up in a Molly Hatchet mood. You don't want to be there when I'm in Molly Hatchet mood. Not good. So I was in that contemplative mood, I guess you could say, and thinking about some stuff. And had a comment on that video the other day about the bush thing. About man said that he was so dedicated to fishing. 5 years old, he'd fish in puddles. Of course, you have to worry about catching very many fish in puddles, but I got that. When I started bass fishing, I was 13 when I got serious. 14, I was really serious, but 13 I started bass fishing. And that winter, we used to have harder winters here in Missouri than what we got now. And they used to be kind of brutal. And we had winter would go from December till basically March. And I mean, snow, stay on the ground, cold. And there wasn't much for fishing. I remember one day, it was the 1st of March into February, whatever, and we got a thaw. It was 65 degrees out and snow melting everywhere. And it was running down our driveway and a river like this deep and this wide. I'd started fishing in Johnson Silver Minnow the fall before, and I was out there with my Johnson Silver Minnow with a skirt on it, throwing it down that current and walking it back up through there. It was beautiful. I was 13 years old. I was ate up with it already, and I wanted to see what that bait looked like in that water. Never had to get the net. Things ain't changed much, unfortunately. I used to do whatever it took to go fishing. Before I was a bass fisherman, I'd fish in puddles. I'd fish in ditches next to the road. Sometimes catch bullhead. Sometimes catch brim. Once in a while catch a big old snapping turtle. Those are some fun times. And once in a while catch some poison ivy. Boy, those weren't fun times. One time I was at my grandma's, and they lived on a farm out in the middle of nowhere, and there was a big trough. I still, to this day, I don't know what that thing was. It was like, I'd say 8 foot across and 5 foot tall, and it was always full of water and skeeters. And I'd been fishing a pond up the road. Boy, I wish I could fish that. It's actually about a 5-6 acre lake. I'd love to fish it again. It's where I caught my first bass ever, about that long. I remember that. Can you buy all the brim? I caught, there was a slamming them sunfish that day, and I caught a bass about that long on a little piece of worm. I remember that fish. How does your brain work that way? Just strange. I went and got the rod and reel out of the truck. Station wagon, probably. I walked over that thing and I dropped a worm in there because it was water. And you fish in water. And it's that or go sit around with the family chewing fat. I didn't want to chew. And something unloaded on me. This thing, 8 foot across, 5 foot deep, a lot of water. It went boom, it bent the rod down all the way to the side of that thing and it broke me off. Scared me. It's like I just, about the same time I just watched Creature from the Black Lagoon. I was probably 9 years old. Come to find out, my cousin or my uncle or somebody put a couple big catfish in there and had forgot about it. Been in there for a long time. What they was eating, that's, boy, I'd love to seen that fish. That sucker, I never did fish it again either. That fish scared me. It actually put a fear in me. Man, those are good times, aren't they? Used to go to the creek a lot. When we were 76, I was 12 years old, we moved to the country. Best thing ever happened to me. I got some stories about that too. I need to go back that creek and show you that creek. Because that creek taught me a lot about life and fishing, squirrel hunting, whatever, trapping. And I live just about 7 miles from the same creek now this way, just that way. It's just downstream a ways. But I walked, I rode bike before I started driving, like 14 or 15, I started driving a little bit. People would stop all the time. The waterworks, the water supply for the town was there, and guys stopped, mostly kind of being nice, sometimes making fun of me. People can be cold, and here I was, 14-year-old boy, and all I wanted to do was fish. But I'd get out in my yard, I'd cast. I cast for days. It's wintertime, summertime, whatever. And people would stop. You catching any? A little bit cold, but that's okay. I'd always say, no, they're not biting. But I was trying to learn how to be better. At 13, 14 years old, guys, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be better. Maybe the best. One day I come back from the creek, and I had me a mess of sunfish, maybe some bass, I don't remember. I had 5 or 6 fish, because it's hard to ride a bike with that stringer. Ape handlebars and sissy bar got in the way. I think I was beyond that bike by then. I think I was in my 3-speed stage. And right before I got to the house, it's all uphill, both ways. No, it's come up a big old hill. I was breathing hard and trying to balance the fish in my little tackle box and my rod and reel. And something happened. Line got hung, or I hit the button on my spin caster or whatever. So I pull over in the yard, flop the bike down, drop everything, and crank that string up, start messing with that line, trying to make it work. And I chunked one out. I don't remember what was even on. It was worm, bobber. It was like 13 years old. This is pre-serious bass fishing, I think. Pretty sure. And one of the water company trucks pulled up. Hey, you catching them? I reached down, pulled that stringer of fish up, said, yeah, they're biting pretty good today. Probably my first occasion to be a smart ass as a fisherman. Boy, would I like to have a video of that. There wasn't very many times I didn't have a rod and reel in my hand sometime during the day. Practicing my casting. And it didn't change much as I got older. When I started casting left-handed, I was probably 15. And I was probably Bassmaster magazine article about Jimmy Houston and his blue and chartreuse spinnerbaits and his left-hand presentation of keeping the bait wet. That's the big. It's a tournament thing mostly, yeah. But I think it's good. Any fisherman, the more you get your bait in the water, the more likely you're going to catch fish. And I'm Bassmaster magazine article, and I remember the picture of him. And had the article pretty quick after that about Chris and her way of fishing. It was all good stuff. And then I saw Jimmy Houston Outdoors, where I got to see him do it. Same time period. I got to learn that. And I went outside and tied a spinnerbait on, and I believe I was still using my Zebco 33 and my Bass Pro Shop Mean Green Stick. That was my first real bass rod. Tubular fiberglass, pistol grip, 5.5 foot, medium heavy action like they all was back then. If you like green, they were pretty. I own 3 or 4 of them things for the next couple years. I'd like to have one now. Mean green stick. Look that one up. And I remember going out, and it come real natural. And I've talked about the left hand, and people comment all the time me throwing left-handed. I make more casts left-handed than I do right. Y'all, I am strictly right-handed. I cannot play guitar. I picked up one time a bass, and I actually played decent left-hand. Strange, but I am right-handed. I'm ambidextrous, though, when it comes to my fishing. Now, I don't flip left-handed. I tried that. I was a tied-up, tangled mess on that. But I spent more time. And then when I got into tournament fishing, I'm 15, 16, 17, I got standing on a picnic table. I was up above the grass to get my presentation. Now, I did it fishing, too, but that's how I learned that underhand roll cast that I still do to this day, and I throw a lot left-handed. I pitch a lot left-handed, and that comes from tons of practice. And at 14, 15, let's say 15 years old, I think your brain works good enough. You get more results faster from the practice, maybe. I can practice stuff nowadays and never see any improvement. That's why I keep this on hand all the time. I keep my bass fishing from dummy. This thing is my Bible. Chase. Buddy, give this to me. This thing, it's getting wore out. Good. I keep it on hand. Oh, well. That's all I got. Thinking about stuff. Kind of a dreary afternoon. I need to be fishing, but I have to get baits done. I appreciate, again, y'all ordering stuff. Let me know what you think about these things. It's a shrimp, little live rubber through it, little teeth. I haven't thrown one yet. I'm going to. Different looking bait, different presentation, maybe. Maybe not. Let me know what y'all think about that. Solar bat link in the description. These aren't solar bats. These are Dollar Tree, $1.75. Thank you, Jesus glasses. I can't see that without them. I'm going to make some baits. Got a new mold in. Got my gator tail mold. Gator. If you ain't old enough to know what a gator tail is, you're probably watching the wrong channel. Bye, guys. God bless. We'll talk at y'all later.